founded an organisation called the Phoenix National Literary Society. It sounds a bit like a book club, but it's quite a violent organisation whose stated aim was to liberate Ireland by force of arms. So they tried to encourage intellectuals to join the nationalist fight. But when James Stephens, just buried behind me over there, when he founded the IRB, the Irish Republican Brotherhood, in the mid-19th century, Rossa and the Phoenix Society were among the first to join. And Rossa was imprisoned in the 1860s for his role in the IRB, for his Republican activities. But in 1871 there was an amnesty for Fenian prisoners, Republican prisoners. The British authorities said you can stay in English prison or you can go to exile in the United States. So understandably Rossa chose exile. Himself, John Devoy, buried just beside me over here, and 3 others boarded a ship called the SS Cuba and went to exile in America. They don't stop their Republican activities over there though. For example, Devoy became a very prominent fundraiser. He founded Clon na Gael, which helped to organise and fund Republican activities in Ireland. And Rossa himself helped coordinate the Fenian invasion of Canada. That's the thing that happened. Irish Americans invaded Canada from the States using trains to get there. Their idea was to capture part of Canada, then ransom it back to Britain in exchange for Ireland. Because that's how international relations worked. But needless to say, it wasn't particularly successful. But Rossa's most important contribution to the nationalist cause came in the form of his death. He died in Staten Island in New York in 1915. In June of 1915, and when news of his death came back to Ireland, immediately the IRB asked for his remains to be brought home because Tom Clark, leader of the rising, leader of the IRB, is planning a rebellion, a rising for the following year. He needs an opportunity to drum up and rally support for his cause, and so he wants to hold a funeral, a massive politicised funeral for Rossa because it's the first war it's illegal to hold rallies condemning the British government. So the IRB organises a massive politicised funeral, and they ask a young poet and teacher, Padraig Pearse, to give a funeral speech. And Pearse says, well, how far should I go with the speech? And Rossa replies, not Rossa, he's gone at this point, Clark replies, throw all caution to the wind, make it as hot as hell. And that's exactly what Pearse did. So on the 1st of August 1915, he steps forward in front of 30,000 people assembled where he's standing now. It's a blazing hot August morning, and Pearse steps forward, dressed in his volunteer uniform, and proceeds to give the most important and the most famous speech in Irish political history.
It would seem right, before we turn away from this place, where we have laid the mortal remains of O'Donovan Rossa, that one amongst us should, in the name of all, speak the praises of this valiant man and endeavour to formulate the thoughts and the hopes that are in us as we stand around his grave. And if there is anything that makes it fitting that I, rather than some other, rather than one of the grey-haired men who were young with him and who shared in his labours and in his suffering, should speak, it is, perhaps, that I may be taken as speaking on behalf of a new generation who've been rebaptized in the Fenian faith and who have accepted the responsibility of carrying out the Fenian program. I propose to you then that here by the grave of this unrepentant Fenian we renew our baptismal vows. Here by the grave of this unconquered and unconquerable man we ask God, each one for himself, such unshakable purpose, such high and gallant courage, such unbreakable strength of spirit as belongs to O'Donovan Rossa. In liberty here we have ours, as he avowed himself in the dock, Irishmen of one allegiance only. We of the Irish Volunteers and the others who are associated with us in today's task and duty are bound together and must henceforth stand together in brotherly union for the achievement of the freedom of Ireland. And we know only one definition of that freedom. It is Tone's definition. It is Mitchell's definition. It is Rossa's definition. Let no one blaspheme the cause served by the dead generations of Ireland by giving it any other name and definition than theirs. We stand at Rossa's grave today not in sadness, but rather in exaltation of